Good. I'll tell you what's not good. There's a mosquito in here. Eeh. So it's Wednesday. I've been trying to get on my live with you guys all morning. So here we are. I can't even see what time it is. It is 1:35. It's September 20th. If you're here and you want to say hello, then I'll know that you're here. If you're not here, don't say hello. Fine. I won't take it personally. Um, so let me just start out with my regular stuff. Please hit that like button as you're coming on in if you don't mind and you feel like it. Um, Share, subscribe, ring your notification bell. Rusty, hey, what's up? Um, and I like to start with my disclaimer when I remember to start with my disclaimer. If not, I try to get it in there anywhere I can. But everything I say is simply my opinion. It's simply for the sake of conversation. I'm always hoping to open up a discussion and learn something new. I hope that my videos are educational for everyone. That's my goal. And all of my content to date has been made for YouTube, and it's an entertainment platform. So I have a couple of bookmarks here that I wanted to share with you because they're really cute. Hey, Susan. This one is advice from a fox. And don't you love foxes? I was talking about all the rodents that I love, hedgehogs, but foxes are super cute. And that one has little mushrooms with it, which is also super cute. But it says, and I just love this. I put this in my books to remind me. It's called Your True Nature, and then it says grow up. No, I refuse. Um, First thing it says is rely on your instincts, right? That's totally me. Hey, Casey the cat. Evening. I love a foxy. Foxy Noxy. We won't talk about that. Have a playful spirit. Find a cozy den. Be bright eyed and bushy tailed. Stop, look, and listen. Be light on your feet. Have good sense. And it's spelled Scents. I'm all about aromatherapy. I have been my whole life since before the term was even really coined. Have good sense, right? I mean, common sense, uncommon sense, um, your 2 cents, your 22 cents. That's a channel that went away. I don't know why. I don't know if something happened with the Kylie Rodney case. Anyway, I liked that channel. I thought it was great. So I'll read you one more if you don't mind. This one is advice from a tree, and I made my confession to you guys. I think that was yesterday that I'm really just like a tree hugging granola earth mama. And I am. I mean, you guys probably figured that out. It's not like I try to keep it undercover or anything. People that are like hippies think that I'm super conservative, and people that are super conservative think that I'm a hippie. And I'm just me. I mean, I've always been that way. My mom was a true hippie. My grandparents were super conservative. And, you know, really the big confession is that my grandfather, who served in the army as a colonel for 30 years, um, when he retired back to the family farm that he grew up on, he was Farmer John, right? And my grandmother was Mary Jane. And I was a not a conservative teenager. And, they were in Ohio, and I moved to Ohio when I was in high school to live with my mama. And I was just like, is that too much of a conspiracy that my grandparents are Farmer John? Mary Jane, I can't even talk. No, it totally cracked me up because I didn't think about it for the longest time. And then, like I said, I was pretty rebellious. And then one day I realized, oh my God, I'm like completely middle America. Farmer John and Mary Jane, and they're the best. I love my grandparents. I love my mama. Family, there's nothing like it, right? They're all deceased, and I definitely feel like they're my guardian angels. So I see Mark Molina rolled on in. Time is off. What's wrong with a cult commune hippie? Is chip advice from a tree? I like that. Okay, yeah, I'll read you guys the advice from a tree in just a second. Kimberly Walker says, Hola. Made it. I'll be quiet. I made a live. Nice. I'll be quiet. Oh, you don't have to be, but yeah, if you like to be, that's cool. I see your viewers are down. I've always thought your channel is cool. Well, Owen, I'm completely shadow banned. Didn't you know? You didn't get the memo? Really don't care. But, but I appreciate your concern. Yeah, I've been getting shadow banned since I started, and all that does is tell me that maybe I'm onto something. So it's cool. I'm not doing this for the views, the clicks, the likes. Never made a dime off of it. Not that I would refuse the money if and when they ever decide to admit that, yeah, I am me, because that's like ever since Christmas, they've been saying, like, you just need to verify that you're you. And I do it all the time. And, you know, it's probably the shadow banning, right? Yeah, who knows, who cares? I mean, YouTube is a freaking hot mess. They change up their stuff every day. They have all these quirks. They, you know, cancel people, they shadow ban people, which is sort of canceling. So, I might find another platform anyway. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I've never even watched anything on another platform. So that's why we love you. You're ethical. Well, I try to be, I mean, I'm a licensed mental health counselor. I have been for over 20 years. I've never had a complaint against me to date, not a single one. I don't even think I've had anyone complain to me about anything professionally. I'm all about the ethics, and I'm not saying I've never made a mistake, but I'm all about the ethics just as a person. Absolutely. And, when you're a keyboard warrior, you still, I think, should hold on to your own personal values. That's just my little humble opinion. I see so many people being keyboard warriors and just being a-holes, right? And I'm just like, people, just because it's cyberspace, it doesn't mean it's not real. It's still the real world. It's just not actual space. It's the internet, the interweb. And, just like you don't like drunk text your ex in the middle of the night, you don't like drunk comment in people's chats or even in their comment sections. And we all know, we've seen people doing their shows under the influence, and not to be critical, I mean, some people's shows are titled like that. So you're almost like required to be drinking to watch. And I get it. I could have gotten into that a long, long time ago, but that's not my thing. In that sense, I am a grown up. So I tried to leave that stuff in my college days. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to do it successfully because I kept trying and trying and trying. And then finally I did. I broke off from my partying, and it wasn't that I was like all strong and doing it on my own. I finally broke down and got professional help, you guys. I volunteered to go through an outpatient program to get clean and sober when I was 22 years old, because I was trying to graduate college, and I was just like, what's the point of graduating college if I'm, you know, a party animal? And my biggest fear was like being the age that I am now and being a party animal. And I see a lot of people around me exactly like that. And, I feel sorry for them in a sense. But again, I try really hard not to pass judgment, because I know I was self medicating for my own anxiety and depression and my own issues. And that's what substance abuse is, it's self medicating. And I think many of us have substance abuse issues. So, um, I think it's good to be kind to ourselves and kind to other people, to meet ourselves right where we're at and to meet other people right where they're at. So, again, here I am on my soapbox. I'll just jump right down. Okay. Where are we at? I hate what YouTube are up to. It just bugs me that you think you have a handle on it and then they change things. That's what really bothers me. And then the whole thing with, you know, just saying I need to verify that I am who I am. So I do it, and then it takes them 30 days to get back to you. But, when I applied for monetization, it took them, they said it was going to take up to 30 days to get back to me, but it was like, I don't know, around the holidays, like maybe a month or 6 weeks before the holidays. So around Christmas, I did it again because it said that I never applied. And maybe I was being shadow banned from Jump, who knows? But I reapplied, and then within, like, a day or 2, like, before New Year's, I think I reapplied, like, right around Christmas, New Year's, and then I just, like, overnight became monetized. My account rung up to $167 and some change, but they said that unless I was, going to verify that I'm me within the next 45 days, that they'd put a freeze on it. So I verified that it was me, half a dozen times, and we've been having that argument. And I've had all of my tech support people help me verify that I'm me. And like I said, I don't really care. Financially, I'm in a really good place, comfortable, and that's super awesome. I mean, I'm really appreciative to have that kind of freedom. And it also makes me really happy that I am seriously not concerned about any of that. So, yeah, it's nice to know that people are listening, but as long as I have my solid crew of you folks, that's you guys are all I need. I got you guys, I got my squirrel squad, we're good. Let's see. I'm forever banned. Why you changed your name? That is freaking awesome. Um, so I put in my links yesterday in my description. One of my favorite content creators is this crazy guy from Norway called Stein Norway, I think is the name of his channel. And he's like, what is he? TikTok and all these different internet things that I'm not too familiar with. He does a whole bunch of different platforms, including YouTube. But his little catchphrase is something like the most banned content creator on YouTube or something like that. It's hilarious. If you guys don't know Stein Norway, please do yourselves a favor. Check out the 2 1-minute videos that I put the links to in the description yesterday. They are freaking hilarious. And they're mild, like mild-mannered. He goes way over the top. That's stuff I'm not so interested in. But anyway, never comply. But I love what you said. I'm forever banned. Yeah, never give up, Susan. Absolutely. Just be yourself and, do what the fox would do. Trust your instincts. Depends on what you're complying. Warning labels for a reason. Like, don't chew the extension cords, kids. Yeah, I've never tried that. And don't stick your fingers in the sockets. I think I remember trying that when I was like 3 or something. I was like, this looks interesting. I don't think anything happened, but it's just funny that kids are like that, right? And your words will come back if to tomorrow, then 15 years down the line. Yes, I like to say, Casey, that everything you say can and will be held against you. Absolutely. One sec. And you share things with friends or family, and sometimes they turn it around and they weaponize it against you. And I always say for that, you can thank them when people show you their true colors. Just make sure you take note. Don't forget. Because seriously, we forget after a while, and then they do it again, and then we're like, you know, that whole thing. Okay. Been sober and clean since October 21st, 1983. Wow, Owen, I am so freaking impressed. That's phenomenal, isn't it? Yeah, for me, it's been about sometime in October. I think it was 89. I really like got my life back, and I was only 22, and everybody else in the outpatient program that I went through was court appointed, and they were a lot older, and they literally had the dead bodies that had piled up in their lives. Um, and I was really lucky. I didn't have one of those yet. And the people in my group articulated that they were jealous of me for being 22 and being in there. I don't think I ever shared with them that I wasn't court appointed because, they might have made fun of me. I can't remember though. Maybe I did. Um, anyway, I spent a lot of money on that, and it was good that I spent money on it because it helped me. My grandparents helped me pay for it too. They said that if I stayed clean for 12 months, that they'd pay for it. So I paid for it up front. They said that they would pay for half, but then when 12 months rolled around, they reimbursed me the whole 3,000 bucks that it cost me. So I thought that was incredible. And I didn't have to pay for it like all with one payment. I was able to like make payments for the whole year and then my grandparents reimbursed me. So that was super kind of them. Especially to like up the deal, that it was a 50-50 deal and then they just went ahead and kicked me um over some dough cuz when you're in college, of course are super broke all the time. Um Anyway, I'm really happy for you, Owen. Did you do a professional program? I mean, inpatient is sometimes necessary too, and then, your follow-up. Um, it's if you're having trouble with addictions, I definitely recommend getting professional help. It doesn't have to be inpatient or outpatient, but definitely professional help beyond just a 12-step program because 12-step programs can be super encouraging and helpful, but everybody there is an addict. So it's a slippery slope. That's one of the things they teach you is not to hang out with addicts. Everybody in the 12 steps is an addict. So let's see. Yes. Kimberly Walker, every time I see your name, I have to think, wait, what's Jagger Westfall's mother's name? It's Kimberly Westfall. And so a lot of times I see your name and I'm like, what is Jagger's mom here? From the Kelly Rodney case. That would just be wild. And, who knows? Sometimes these people roll into people's lives and chats and identify themselves. Sometimes they don't identify themselves. Look what YouTube are doing to Russell. Right, right. And he's totally over the top, but still, it's all about not censoring and freedom of speech. And, he's hitting the truth. And no, they don't want that. Still showing his videos, but not paying him. Okay. I hate that they're taking people's work unpaid. Right. They're making money off of me, those rat bastards. I mean, if let's just say it's 150 a month that they're not sending me over the last 10 months, then that's been a good chunk of change, like over, what, 1,500 bucks? Like that'd be nice to get paid in one lump sum, but I don't think I'll ever see it. I don't think. I might see that first 167 that tallied up, but then it's a freeze until they decide that it's unfrozen. Um, so let's see, change my name 4 times. See, you're not supposed to do that. But that's what's so funny is they have all these rules that they let some people break. Just they cherry pick. Owen Gordon says, went to Cincinnati with one pair of pants, 2 shirts, and a jacket. Today I own a commercial real estate company in 3 states and 3 countries. Sweet, Mr. Owen Gordon. That is amazing. Um, yeah, I'm curious what 3 states, if you wanna share. When they show their true colors, always carry an eraser. Yeah, I just whenever somebody's a jerk to me, I always just try to say to myself, "Thank you for the information, you idiot," because it's nice that people let you know that. And, the same thing goes for trolls. Trolls are letting you know that you're pushing their buttons. So they might be revealing some information simply by being in your chat. Um, but also, the things that they say are very revealing. So I know for a fact that I've been trolled by some of the people involved on the dark side of some of the cases. And I'm not going to say which ones, but I know it 100%. So it just kind of cracks me up. But then I give hints like that, like, I've said it once or twice, like, if you're a troll, be a smart troll and play nice, and then people won't know you're a troll. And then I'm like, I don't wanna give them any hot tips, but dealing with jerks is a drag. It takes energy, and that's their whole point is to get you off track. Don't you just love the colors? I'm having so much fun with these candles, and now I got these cool hand-blown blue glasses. Anyway, we're not a jewelry channel, we're a home decor channel, right? Let's see, what else you guys got? I got tired of getting fired all the time, so I started my own company 23 years ago. Too funny. Yeah, I've worked for myself most of my life, but I've definitely had jobs where I'm not working for myself. And, there's pros and cons to everything. It's nice when you don't have to be pumping money back into your business all the time when your paycheck is all profit, but it's also nice to be your own boss. So, I remember you sharing about your grandparents before. Yeah, they are like the anchors in my life. My parents were pretty nuts. Even my mom, who I love dearly, and she finally did grow up and get more responsible. But yeah, my parents were. I like to say not the kinds of people that should have had kids, both of them. So I'll just leave it at that. They were very narcissistic and, a lot of their own issues. Where are we at here? So yeah, I do like to share sometimes. Pixie Knickers, I got your thing off in the mail yesterday. I feel like such a grown up that I did it finally. So you should be getting it. I would think by Friday. They gave me the tracking number and all that. So let me know when you get it. And if you don't get it, then we'll figure it out. I'm just so excited that I got it to you, and I wrote you a cute little card, so you can look forward to that little package. It's a little brown envelope, one of those like puffy ones. And so now that I finally have followed through on the giveaway, I can do more giveaways. I was waiting to make sure that I could complete the task before I got on with another one. So in the next few days, I'll do the same type of giveaway. I might do a pair of earrings separate from a necklace. Uh, and a lot of the stuff that I make these days, I cannot get rid of. I cannot let go of. They're just like one of a kind stuff. Like, sure, I could remake it if I had all the same materials, but I don't. So, like these earrings and this necklace, I don't think I could ever part with. But I will find some that I only want to give away stuff that I love. I don't want to give you guys stuff that I'm not crazy about myself. And I just want to keep it fun. I was even thinking I could give away like home decor and not so much home decor, but maybe because I do have a lot and I love my home decor, like the candles and pictures. But I was thinking pictures, like giving away some artwork. And maybe artwork that I've done, but I was more thinking just kind of my overflow of artwork because I have more artwork than I have wall space. But whatever it is, we're going to have fun with it. We're going to have a ton of fun with it. Um, so thanks so much for being patient with me, Pixie. And so, yeah, hopefully you got my email back that said, got it. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what to do. New York City, I never got fired before. Up here, they fired me twice in a year. Like, I can't figure out what's up. I literally give 150%. Well, Kimberly, I think a lot of times people get fired because their bosses are threatened by them because they know that you could do their job better than them. Um, so that's my opinion. And, there's sexism, there's that. And I always say, quit, got fired, doesn't really matter. They're kind of both the same, kind of like breaking up, getting dumped. It's a mutual thing, whatever. Um, it's amicable. The only difference whether you got fired or quit a job is did you get invited to the going away party? That's the only difference. And that's from one of my favorite comedians, and I'm not even sure which one it is. It was a female comedian. I don't think it's Paula Poundstone, but it could be somebody like that. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Just like when people break up with you or you break up with people, you can never be really straight with exactly why you broke up with someone, and no one is really straight with you exactly why they're letting you go. Like a lot of times they'll say we're just downsizing or we're um, you know, eliminating your position. That's my favorite because I've had some crappy bosses who had had a pattern of getting their positions eliminated. Um, you know, Restructuring. That's a really nice way of giving someone the axe. Like, "Oh, yeah, we're just restructuring, so don't let the door hit you on the way out." But anyway, Lord Westfall's in Delphi too. Oh, really? I did not know this. I know a lot of not a whole lot about the Delphi case. I know some of the basics about the Delphi case, and I know there's been all this stuff with Richard Allen lately. I haven't been following it, so I get really hyper focused on the cases that I am so enthralled with. And I don't think we've gotten to any of that meat and potatoes yet, have we? I've been trying to keep up with you guys. So one sec, let's get caught up and then get into my notes. I went through the VA hospital and tried the 12 steps. It was like old men chasing young girls and boys. Yikes. Yeah, it's not for everybody. You have to find a good group and a good sponsor. Kimberly, now lean how to open an LLC, then go. There you have it. I have to figure out what business first. Yeah, follow your passion. Do what you love. Absolutely. Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Maryland. Nice, very nice. DC area, maybe. I, I was born and raised in the DC area, and then West Coast, back and forth in Ohio, and long story. I made a map with all of those moves for you guys, and I made a list, and then I did a couple of videos with them, or maybe it was community posts or both, way back, like probably 10 or 11 months ago. My husband quit his work, and I'm helping him set up his music instruction business. Very, very cool. I love it. He's getting his first customers, so might be a bit. Yeah, yeah. And running a business is a lot. I've done it most of my life. I ran my jewelry designing business until I went to graduate school, and then after I got real stable in my profession, I ran a private practice for a very long time. So, let's see. And love to hear people doing well. Love the colors. Believe me. Where did that one go? Sometimes it just like jumps. It's so weird. Believe me, I had many, many tears during the time. Yeah. Yeah. Sobriety's rough, but man, it's such a blessing. It's not as rough as the other option, in my humble opinion. Thank goodness for great grandparents and great grandparents, but yeah, grandparents are the bomb. I like to say kids and grandparents go together like peanut butter and jelly, like white on rice. Sharon Kennedy says, my mom has five siblings, and I think that's thank goodness every day that I got her as my mom. LOL, the rest of them shouldn't have had kids. That's hilarious. Um, and my mom is somebody that I was always great friends with, but she didn't understand that whole like your kid needs you to be their mom kind of thing. So a lot of times I was like the mom. And then when I had my own kids, I was like, you're my mom. Don't make me be your mom. That's ridiculous. Tried to be a hippie for a few months. You funny. So much a grown up. I love it. Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. I was such a big girl. I went to the post office. I was like super focused. I was like, I'm not doing anything until I get this thing sent. And I packaged it super cute, super well protected. You'll love it. I've noticed one thing up here north, they fire you at your 30 days probation mark. It's BS. Then they go and hire another new person and work them 3 months. Interesting. Hello, Michael McAllister. Nice to see you. You sound like you're having a crappy time. You must remember that every crisis is an opportunity. So it says that in so many different countries and different ways, even Homer Simpson. I thought you were quoting me, Casey, because yeah, every crisis is a dangerous opportunity. The two symbols in Asian culture for crisis, the first symbol is danger, second symbol is opportunity. And yeah, every problem that we have has an opportunity, a challenge, and a gift. So, that is very true. Bosses are the most insecure people on earth. Oh, the only thing worse than a boss is a landlord. They suck. They're like the scum of the earth, in my humble opinion. Pixie Knickers and says, "Hi, Michael. It's not really a bad time, Casey. Just a time I can make decisions." Well, good. It's hard to not take it personal, and that's key with everything. Don't take it personal. You have a crisis soonity, Homer Simpson says. Oh, that's funny. You must find beauty in pain because there always is. Find the opportunity, it's there. And the beauty in the pain, I like, I'm way into the Red Hot Chili Peppers, like early stuff, especially. Taste the pain. Do you guys know that song? I didn't understand that concept until they wrote that song. Taste the pain. And really, to me, as a mental health counselor, it's like grieving. Like, you have to feel your pain. If you don't feel your pain, you can't feel your joy. So you have to just get into it. You can postpone it, but you have to get into it at some point. Um, and let's see. Yes, I hope everyone's doing well too, Michael. I'm gonna highlight that one because it's so sweet. I can't highlight all of them. That's what's slowing me down, and then I'm not getting to my notes here. Um, a bad chat, buddy. I don't say hi to people. It's hard. I try to say hi to people, but I usually only say hi to the people that say hi to me because it is hard. It takes a lot, especially when it's rolling really quickly. But it's nice. It's nice to like have the warm fuzzies, I think. I'm excited for you, Kimberly. You are having change, and that's exciting. Tyson's Corner, Virginia. So my mama and I used to design jewelry together, and one of our big sales was to Nordstrom's in Tyson Corner when they first opened because I was living in Seattle at the time, so I had some Nordstrom's connections, but Nordstrom's was really hard to work with as a tiny business. So that was the only Nordstrom's I think that we got our stuff in, but we had some really highfalutin like Chicago Art Institute, Peabody Museum at Harvard, Georgetown Cotton in Washington D.C., Fred Siegel in Los Angeles, actually the one in Malibu, and I nailed that account all by myself. Murray Hill Market in Cleveland, um, fireworks in Seattle. We had a lot of like those are all things that you could put on a resume, especially Chicago Art Institute and the Harvard Peabody Museum. Huge. Oh man, there was this one up in Evanston, Chicago area, and I wish I could remember the name of it. I was up there a couple weeks ago and I was trying to look it up. And since my mom has passed away, I can't ask her, but I'll find it at some point. It was like a really cool clothing boutique with jewelry, kind of like Georgetown Cotton, if you guys are familiar with Georgetown Cotton in DC. Anyway, here we go. Um, well, oh, and just be careful of other landlords and real estate people in maintenance who cut corners. I worked for my landlord briefly, 3 months. Ugh, yeah. Well, there's snakes in every field, and I like to say there's hacks in every field because when you're dealing with law enforcement, when you're dealing with doctors, dentists, counselors, real estate agents, teachers, any field, you're going to have your hacks. And that's why it's so important to go with recommendations from people that you know, go with word of mouth. But go with your own gut too, because just because somebody was good for somebody else, it doesn't mean that they're going to be good for you too. But finding people in the phone book or just, shooting in the dark, it's a rough way to go. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you get the best that way, but not usually. And same thing with jobs. When you interview for a job, like you need to find out why that position is open, what happened with the last person there and the people before that, because that'll give you a lot of information. And the worst thing about a job I gotta do a kids in the hall joke. The only thing worse than looking for a job is having a job. The only thing worse than having a job is looking for a job, right? Okay, we'll get on with it. I won't be advertising for the kids in the hall today, promise. So, I am not what if you suck at your passion like singing. I am not what if you suck at your passion like singing. Well, I mean, I thought you were talking to me because I did a couple of videos of singing and I've done a lot of voice classes because personally I kind of think I suck, but sometimes people tell me that I'm really good. And I don't know that I am. I know that I've done a lot of training and I love doing it. So I just try to not judge myself because some of my favorite musicians are people that are kind of like that. Um and it's just fun. Like everybody's unique, right? Um I only sell commercials. I have 75 acres listed for 14 minutes along Route 81. I only need to move one or two a year like this now, and I'm very comfortable. Wow, that's phenomenal. Nice. Tyson's Corner is the heartbeat of America. Yeah, Washington, D.C., baby. I'm all about it. Um, and thank you. You come out with the best stuff. Taste the pain. Oh my God, you guys. Red Hot Chili Peppers, they're the best stuff. Taste the pain. If you don't know that song, I can try to put it on my community post. Sometimes I can do those things and sometimes it won't do it because it's somebody else's stuff. But that's a very obscure Red Hot Chili Pepper song that probably not too many people know these days. Um, Beauty and pain, so true. Sounds strange, but it really helps. Yeah. Well, and bittersweet. And, oftentimes when we have like the best day of our lives, we can have one of the worst moments on that same day or close to it. I mean, there's always the yin and the yang. There's always the good that comes with the bad and the bad that comes with the good. Um, Things are challenging. Casey the cat. I always think Casey and the Sunshine Band. I gotta admit it. Hi everyone, I'm back now. My boss called me. Too funny. Um, a lot of the money spent in Asia Minor has been spent there. Route 66 now is now 8 lanes. What? Crazy. Um, Talk about me, LOL Justice. Okay, Mark. Yeah, you're funny. And you have such a great channel. Like you're super humble about your channel because you're not feeling so maybe competent with it yet. I don't know how long you've had it, but you are really, really good, man. Your material is rock solid, and you're doing a lot to propel Kylie Rodney's case forward. Um, all right, so let me read my tree thing and then get into my notes, right? Because people who aren't just jazz fans are going to be like, man, this chick's just like talking for 40 minutes. Click. So I wanted to just talk with you today because I'm not rushed like I have been. I have a little bit more time. So I should have said that at the beginning for anybody who's not interested. Okay. Advice from a tree: stand tall and proud, sink your roots into the earth, be content with your natural beauty, drink plenty of water. That's my favorite, right? Enjoy the view. So that's the tree. Okay. On with the show. Let's talk Kylie, Maui, and Idaho 4. So I used a picture of Dylan Mortensen sitting on the beach with a beautiful sunset for my thumbnail. I love that picture. Um, I gotta be totally frank with you guys. I mean, that person in the photograph is a very attractive person, but she looks pretty spooky to me in that picture. So that's one of the reasons why I like the picture because it's just a really wild picture. And, I don't trust her story as it's been portrayed in the PCA and everything else. I mean, I am very, very suspicious of both of the surviving witnesses that didn't see anything that saw stuff. I mean, their stories don't add up. I don't trust any of these people. I don't trust the people that come out onto the streets of YouTube and try to say that they know stuff. There was that Kimberly, different Kimberly, right? Or Kim or whatever. You know, the the people from the Greek system that are talking to my friend Kelly at What's the Obsession. I don't trust these people. Like, they're very likely up to something. Like, none of that case sounds true and accurate. It all sounds like a pile of crap, just like the Kylie Rodney case. And, you know, we need to talk about those freaking fires in Maui. Um, let's see. Where'd we go? I gotta go watch Mark's stuff now after jazz. Yeah, I put his link in my video description yesterday again too. That 1 30-minute link. The one video that's the slow motion of Sammy and Lindsay at that disgusting makeout scene. What did they call it? A press conference or something? I don't know. Um And have you heard of a channel called I Ruined It? So they have a couple Red Hot Chili Pepper tunes and they're brilliant. No, the channel's called I Ruined It. That's cool. Now, do they sing the songs? We love your personality and enthusiasm. Oh, that's so nice, Michael. I really appreciate that. It's nice just to be me, you know? I never want to be anything but myself. But not everyone appreciates me, and I can appreciate that, different strokes for different folks. Like, that's good. Don't worry about it. Um, what beach was that taken at? Good question, Kimberly Walker. I have no idea. It's just a picture that I've gotten off the internet that I've seen a lot of people using. The colors are phenomenal. Um, again, I want to just be clear in what I'm thinking, but I also don't want to be um demonizing, but she looks like a freaking demon. She looks like she could have horns, but she also looks like she could be an elf maybe. Let's, like, see it both sides, right? Come in late bit here. Do we know what beach? Yeah, I've never heard anyone talk about what beach. I always figured maybe it was like a lake in Idaho, but I have no idea. Very good question. I love your talks. Thanks, Bex. Um, And hello, hello. There's so much that needs to be overlooked to trust in the official story regarding the roommates. I thought you were going to say regarding Maui. Oh, man. And again, all three of these cases, the official story with Kylie Rodney don't add up to nothing either. That's a whole pile of malarkey. Um, Hi, all. Wow, popping up everywhere. What's popping up everywhere? Dylan's photo, right. I've seen a couple of other beach pics from up there that seem like the same lake. Well, the beach pics of Kylie Rodney that are harder to find, where she's wearing like blue jeans and a bathing suit top, and she's got some interesting geometric earrings on, and she's with a couple of friends, and it's like a beach, and they're sitting on rocks, and it's sunset, and there's mountains. For some reason, I initially thought that that photograph was taken in Mexico, but I'm pretty sure that that's taken at Lake Tahoe or one of the lakes up there. I don't know why I thought Mexico at first. It just seemed very otherworldly, I guess. It didn't seem like the rest of her, Truckee photos. But that's some of my favorite, photography from her case too. There's like 2 or 3 different photos from that, um, little excursion of her with her blue jeans and her bathing suit top. It's a cute outfit too. It's like blue jeans and a string bikini. It's hilarious. Um, let's see. I've even looked Bear Lake or Bear Creek or whatever it's called, and it could be there. The beach is long and straight for a long way. I ruined it. Brilliant channel. You will enjoy it, Jazz. Well, I like the name. It's funny. I ruined it. I'm writing it down so I don't forget because there's so much information that's so easy to forget. Bear Lake, Bear Creek is where they found the jawbone with no other parts of the body in the sand. I missed this, Kimberly. If you want to elaborate, and then I'll get into my notes because I haven't even gotten there yet, and we're already at 45 minutes for crying out loud. Just just yabbering, just flapping my jaws. But it's nice to just kind of be with you guys. I often feel like I'm just rushing through my material and I'm having fun trying to be with you guys, but I just wanted to chill out and relax. Chillax, right? That's a fun term. And I'm super thirsty. I was trying to drink all the water that I could before I started so I wouldn't be having to guzzle while I'm on here, but when I talk, I get so thirsty. So let me finish this cup real quick. I have a second cup. I have my backup. One more sip. And for those of you that don't appreciate watching me drink my agua, I understand. I probably wouldn't appreciate watching someone drink their agua either, so I apologize. All right. The two boys found human jawbone. I check on it every now and then. No other bones found. Jawbone has a specific cult meaning. Interesting. I did not know that. It's funny because right away I thought of um that Brian Laundrie in the Gabby Petito case and how they said they found his tooth and then they found his jawbone. And then if you look on the internet, they eventually found each bone, even though like they said the animals ate him. I guess they shat him out. It's a joke. I mean, I'm joking because I don't believe that he offed himself, and I don't believe that he's no longer of this earth. Um, but that's a whole nother case that we're not talking about today. And I'm sure a lot of you agree with me, and some of you probably think, what? But the official narrative is that he's deceased and that that's him. So how would you think it's not? But often the official narrative is a crock. It's unfortunate that we cannot believe mainstream media and that we can't always believe law enforcement. I would love to be able to trust law enforcement, but like I've shared with you guys, I've got, uh, my grandfather raised me to be suspicious of everything all the time, basically. I mean, they didn't raise me, but emotionally, psychologically, they raised me. So, anyway, I want to talk about Maui right away because that case with those numbers going down, numbers don't settle. We all know that when there's a disaster, tragic event, and thousands of people die, the numbers never go down. They only go up. So, think about things like 9/11 and, earthquakes and floods and, you know, in any case, whether it's the Kylie Rodney case, the Moscow case, a natural disaster, in any case, law enforcement is usually very tight-lipped. They want to give the public a minimum amount of information to protect the integrity of their investigation, and they don't want to panic people. They do not want to incite public panic. It's actually illegal to incite public panic. So they are usually they keep their cards very close to their chest. So up front, they will only tell you what they have to tell you and what they know to be true. So that's why it's so important to always go back to the beginning, because when they change their story, when the official narrative changes, when the people in positions of authority change their posture. Posturing is a thing. And when they're relaxed and like an open book in the beginning, and then they start getting closed and uptight and their story is changing, that they're hiding things. So when in the beginning, like with the Moscow case, they said, well, this was a targeted attack, so no one else needs to worry about it, right? And then eventually they started to say, well, we don't know if a person was targeted or if maybe the house was targeted. And then they kept changing it. So it was a targeted attack and it was a person, in my opinion. Like, they're not going to say that if they don't know that. And they do have so much videotape footage from everybody's doorbell cam in Moscow and everybody's surveillance camera in Moscow. They have all that in the Kylie Rodney case too, so they can really piece together much of the story that they're never gonna share with the public, but they have that, so they know things. They know things. They're not gonna tell you, "Well, we have videotape of this, that, and the other thing." They just don't tell you that. But that whole case and the way, they tried to say that a person at the gas station at the A&W saw this white car driving by fast. It's just like it's laughable because it's so stupid and it's like a joke. And then they said that they wanted to talk to the people that were in the white car, that they really just wanted to talk to them. And they kept saying them. Like, so could they see into the car that it was more than one person? Why would they refer to plural people unless they knew it was plural people? And I don't buy it. There's no way that they didn't know exactly whose car that was or exactly the model, the license plate. They pretend that they don't have a license plate and they pretended like, oh, yeah, well, Brian Koberger's car is a 2015. We said 2011 to 2013, but we meant 2016. We knew that. We knew that it could have been anything from 2011 to 2016. They're changing their story. You can't do that. They know you can't do that. Like, you have to pick a story and stick to it. We all know that. But law enforcement gets free reign. They have carte blanche. They get to do whatever they want because what they say is the law. So who's going to bust them? Are they going to bust themselves? And the larger authority entities that we would hope oversee them, like, say, the FBI, there's a lot of jurisdiction stuff that feds are not going to step on the toes of local law enforcement. You know, most cities are governed within themselves, and the federal authorities are not going to get involved unless they feel like getting involved. And they know that people in positions of authority in every city across the entire nation are breaking laws, but they don't have time to investigate every single one of them. They pick and choose. So if you're friends with the right people, you can get a free pass, in my opinion. Um, so I'm thinking in Delphi, the man painted the mouth rune on a tree and spilled blood to feed the mouth. They put another type of mouth at the river. That would be another sacrifice spot. Sounds so crazy, Kimberly. I mean, honestly, it sounds nuts, right? But unaliving a couple of young tweens is absolutely disgusting and completely insane. Absolutely. They're saying 2 runes in Delphi. It's 3. They creep up, Mark Molina says. The 3 runes are Havoc, Mouth, and Need. That's wild. I never hear anybody talking about runes. Um, that is really wild. Translated, Havoc Mouth Need means the abyss is hungry. Okay, that's my last thoughts. Well, thanks for sharing, Kimberly. That's fascinating. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, I mean, everybody's always hungry. You always have to keep feeding the monster, whatever that monster is, good or bad or ugly. In today's world, always question it unless you see differently with your own eyes, then think about what you saw. And Batshit Crazy. It's a funny name. Um, yeah, I like that. I'm gonna highlight that, Sandra. That's why weren't the 2 persons that will unhurt in a house where Okay, hold on. I got to read this all in one fell swoop. Too many words, too much alphabet, too much reading. Why weren't the two persons that were unhurt in a house where four peeps' lives were taken and who did not call 911 for hours, not looked into by law enforcement like they should have been? And Catherine, thank you. That's absolutely like, the thing is that we as the public tend to accept what law enforcement tell us and then move on. So, law enforcement didn't even make up any good excuse other than the whole frozen shock phase syndrome, which is not a good excuse because now we're finding out that Bethany was pretty much in the same position as Dylan, but not in Frozen's shock phase, or, the stories don't add up. And, you can't be like texting or contacting, trying to call all your roommates to see if they're okay when you're in a frozen shock phase. Um, there's so much of the story that doesn't add up. And what to me is the most suspicious is the police not being suspicious and not holding them accountable. But again, they're not holding themselves accountable for taking another 4 hours to arrive. And what I look at is that 12 hours that from the time that it allegedly happened, the 8 hours to call 911, the 4 hours for the lead detective and his supervisor to show up. Blaker was a sergeant. So even though Corporal Brett Payne was technically the lead, a sergeant was with him, and a sergeant would supervise a corporal. So just because he was the lead, that doesn't mean that he would be anybody's supervisor if they're a higher rank than him. So, the other folks that got there before them, it doesn't make sense that there would be a 4-hour delay on an emergency like that, because when you get there that you have 4 people unalive and that you don't know who did it and that they're at large. So, it's an emergency, you guys. It's absolutely an emergency. Just because the 4 people are already gone and they've been gone for 8 hours doesn't make it any less of an emergency. What if there were other people unalived in those 4 additional hours? And all of the cleaning and the destroying of evidence that can happen and does happen in that time frame simply from the decomposition. But, those first 8 hours, but who knows if things weren't cleaned up in those other 4 hours from noon to 4 p.m. before they allowed the coroner to come in. I've never trusted that because that Moscow PD is shady AF, sketchy AF, in my humble opinion. Okay, so I started to talk about the numbers in the Maui case going down, and some of the things that I really want to say before I forget is that one of the ways they took their numbers down was by saying, well, 16 of these entities were not human, right? And they didn't speculate or share if they thought they were animals or something else extraterrestrial. They just didn't share. So, why did they not share what the other was? Because let's just say it was 16 feral cats, okay? A cat's remains are very distinctly not human, and it wouldn't take you long to figure out that that's a cat and not possibly a person. Um, and if it was a dog or a horse or any animal, you could tell the difference even if they're charred and much of their remains are ashes. One of the ways it's so obvious with a cat, like let's just say it's a pile of ashes, is that most cats are like 10 pounds and most people are over 100 pounds, right? So, it's 1/10 the size of what would be human remains if they're incinerated. And when things are incinerated, there's always parts left. I mean, these fires seem to be really hot, like somewhere in the range of 3,000 degrees. Most wildfires are somewhere in the range of 1,400 degrees, to my understanding. Um, so even in the range of 3,000 degrees, where that's, I think, the temperature that they use to cremate someone, there's still parts that don't completely cremate. So, um, it's just not the math ain't mathin'. So, um, for them to try to say we consolidated body bags into one distinct person, that one distinct person phrase haunts me because I've never heard anybody speak like that. I've never heard anybody say one distinct person. Like, w that's a better choice than one real person or one whole person or one actual person because it kinda sounds like you're making it up more. So, I think they selected that word very carefully. We'll say one distinct person. You know, when they came out with that last press conference with those 4 goofballs, I mean, to me, they're all goofballs except the police chief. He's not goofy, he's just creepy. But the guy from, the defense, uh, what was he, like a defense expert from Honolulu? And then the doctor guy with his super long lab coat, like, those guys were very weird. And then the public information officer, the short young woman, was also kind of goofy. There was no FBI there. There was no person there to me that looked real trustworthy and ethical, honestly, in my humble opinion. None of them seemed trustworthy. They were like a motley crew, okay? I mean, yeah, the little girl, not so motley. She was very like cute and endearing, with her little dimples and she was like, "So what's your question?" "That's too long of a question." She actually said, "You guys are killing me with your long questions." It's like people are going to have long questions. You've got thousands of people missing at the start of your investigation, and now you're whittling it down to under 100. People are going to have a lot of questions because they're people and they're inquisitive and you're not making sense. So, um, 12 to 4 time frame. I didn't think of that could be possible rearranging, so to speak, at the 1122 address. Thank you, Sudi. I 100% agree with that. Hey, harsh one, Shelly, True Crime in Nature. Hit that like button. Yes, let me grab my cute little thumb thing again. I love this. My wrought iron thumb. Yes, please hit that like button if you'd be so kind. It's super good for the algorithm to try to counterbalance the shadow banning if I'm being shadow banned. I don't like to be suspicious of anything. I just roll with it, whatever it is. That's some crazy word choice. Yeah, distinct human. Like I had to think about it. Every time I say it, I have to think about it. I'm like, wait, what was that weird word that they used again? Like I like whole person or I like actual person. That's my favorite. Like, okay, so we consolidated the body bags into 50 actual people when we thought it was 116 different actual people. We were able to consolidate the body bags into less actual people. Like, that's not something that's done, like, ever. Like, I mean, imagine with all of the remains in the 9/11 tragedy. And like I've said, and like Brush Junkie has said, I don't think I've seen other channels talking about that yet. But we really need to ask why this police chief started the conversation with 9/11 and prisoners of war. We need to ask a lot of questions. And little Missy, the um, public information officer, that's her job is to be ready for the questions, but she was just there trying to protect and make the questions lighter and fluffier and easier. It was ridiculous. It was the goofiest, like, they couldn't get somebody real professional in there, in my opinion, because if they could have, they would have, because they were trying to sell this big fat pile of crap and they wanted it to look good. They wanted to put lipstick on that pig and they had no lipstick. All they had was a freaking pig. Some of those remains that were cremated in the fire that they always want to call a wildfire that may or may not have been a wildfire were probably pig. We probably had pig and cows and horses and goats and dogs and cats. I don't know what wild animals they have in Hawaii. I don't know if they have things like foxes or deer. But they probably had farm animals and house pets and probably hundreds. And then those feral cats, there was probably thousands of deceased feral cats. So if they said in all of the evidence that we've taken in, we've been able to find 16 distinct non-human remains. Well, what about the other thousands that are certainly out there? So you're saying that you have this much percentage of the remains from the fire. So therefore, your little number of under 100 humans is also probably that same percentage of the actual, in my opinion. And just because people aren't making missing persons reports doesn't mean that there aren't persons missing, especially if you have an entire family wiped out in that fire. Who's going to make the report on them? Maybe a neighbor, maybe a friend, but normally it would be somebody in the family. So if the whole family's gone, the whole family's gone. So those parents aren't going to be saying, "Well, my kid is missing," because the parents are deceased. And it's so insane, you guys. I mean, this is crazy to have to try to explain this. This is the police work to be truthful and honest and transparent. It is their job and their duty to protect and serve. And they did not protect, and they are not serving. And the people in those positions of authority absolutely, they need to be held accountable. They need to be investigated. They need to be put on an administrative leave. Like, people are talking about fire that police chief, get rid of the governor, get rid of the mayor. The first thing you do is you put them on a paid administrative leave and you launch an investigation into them. And then a lot of times they just run and resign. Oh, it really upsets me because these things I am 100% sure of. That's not my opinion. That's a freaking fact. That's what you do. So let's just say that they're all cleared for no wrongdoing. This is a disaster. They still need to be investigated for the mishandling. 100%. Um, in from mowing, Fred Field. Hello, hello. Messed up my hubby's mower today. He's been working 6 days a week, and I was trying to help. I guess I need to get a new belt for it. Gee, I forgot to hit like. Done it now. Thank you. And thanks for sharing too, because yeah, I forget all the time. It's not that hard, but yeah, you have to. For me, I usually have to like go out of the chat screen to the other screen and then come back into the chat. Um, I did want to brag to you guys that I steam cleaned a few rooms in my house last night for a few hours, and I was so proud of myself for doing those chores because I'd been needing to do it for a long time. So when you talk about mowing, because I can do that outdoor work, I'll choose that any day of the week. But the steam cleaning, I actually enjoy doing it once I get going with it, but it's a huge chore. It's a big commitment. Um, These numbers are that special math, I guess. Yeah, I like to say fuzzy math. Um, I mean, it's really magical thinking to that whole talk about the numbers settling. Like, oh, you get these inflated numbers in the beginning and then the numbers settle. I've never seen that happen in an emergency disaster, you guys. Not once. Not once. The numbers don't settle. The numbers usually continue to go up because usually law enforcement isn't going to put a number out there until they know, and they don't want to make it sound worse than it is. Again, they don't want to incite public panic. Why would they say they had 3,000 missing people in the beginning if they didn't have 3,000 missing people in the beginning? And sure, some of them could have been found, but not all of them. All of them found alive? No. I mean, I wish that were true. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I can be proven wrong with actual facts and actual people. But no, I think that this is a pile of crap that they think they can get away with because it's thousands of miles out in the ocean and they govern themselves. Maui is a self-governing island. The Hawaiian Islands are self-governing. I mean, something like that, I don't think could happen on the mainland, and I wouldn't think that it could happen there either, but it seems to be. But these people need to be stopped. They need to be investigated. They need to be put on administrative leaves. And I think that all of us should be writing our senators, state senators, like whatever state we live in, write our state senators to put pressure on the Hawaiian senators. It's just an idea. But we got to do something. I mean, we've got to help these people. They need our help, and you know, the islands are treasures, but even if they weren't, these people need our help. But those islands being treasures is exactly the motive. It's like pirates, you guys. These people are like pirates trying to steal the jewels. The island being the precious jewel. Lahaina was the capital of the Hawaiian Islands because of the way it's positioned and the view of the sunset and the other islands. I've never been there, so I can only imagine. But you look at all the pictures and you get it. You can see why. Other places in Hawaii have beautiful views, but Lahaina was the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas, right? Um, I had issues before, but now I really have trust issues. I hope that's not my fault. These numbers are that special math, but yeah, I skipped that one, and I'm glad that I saw it and read it. Um, yes, I know. I used to wonder, like people who didn't trust the government, I'd be like, "What's wrong with you? You don't trust the government." And there's a lot of people that are still like that, but I know from real life experience for fact. Um, to mention 9/11 POW and to say distinct person, Casey, yeah, thank you for reiterating that for me so I don't feel like I'm on my island all by myself. If we all write one email, they will be held accountable, but people need to write emails. Right, because usually if they get three, they do something. Like you guys know that if they get three, you can call them too. You can find the phone numbers and leave voicemails. I mean, all that information is so easy to look up on the interweb, right? Just contact your senator, send an email, make a phone call. Um, you don't have to write a letter. The old school, like we used to, right? It is like Truckee Way, protect and serve the wealthy community. Screw the Yeah, let's talk some about Kylie. We've talked about Moscow. We've talked about um, Maui. I mean, we've talked some about Kylie, but I'm so grateful for CCTV. Are you guys watching her? She lives in Truckee. That girl's been through a lot. Like, she took her channel down, she put it back up. She's getting back on it. I'm so thankful for Mark Molina, for all the content creators. I'm thankful for every single person that's watching Kylie Rodney videos because we know a lot of people aren't watching Kylie Rodney videos. Nobody's making Kylie Rodney videos to try to make money, right? I mean, it's not about that. That's not what's driving people. I would say with Moscow 4, that is maybe what's driving people. Not so much with Maui either. I mean, people don't really want to hear conspiracy theories about Maui. Um, it's all freaking crazy, but it definitely needs to be investigated what started those fires. and why they weren't contained and why people were trapped and why they're not counting people like the woman in her 20s in Ohio that died of lung damage right after surviving, barely escaping the fires. Why aren't they tallying up those with their stupid magical numbers of um, whole people, actual people? I literally can't even think of that crazy word. The consolidated people. I mean, it's funny because it's such a weird phrase. And even though I was saying it a minute ago, now it's escaping me. I like consolidated people, whole people, actual people, intact person, person with integrity. Where's the integrity, you guys? Ugh. Um, yeah. What was the word? Can you guys tell me? I'm totally am forgetting. Too funny. Please help. I hate it when my brain freezes, but it's also funny. So let's get over there to Kylie. I had a little more faith, but now I'm praying all the time for guidance. And prayer is so important. Meditation and prayer are just so helpful for your mental health, physical health, your spiritual well-being. Those numbers aren't even close. Sus AF. Exactly. We don't hear much about Hawaii's disaster. This does need to be brought to attention of the nation. So damn sad. I think it's essential that I stay focused on it. It's just where my heart is, and I agree with you 100%. Um, let's see. I wanted to get that one up there too. How do you tell dad and son as two people in ashes? Mark, such a really excellent point, Mark. Really excellent point. But yeah, I would imagine that as people tell their stories, that just survivors' stories will be able to tally up hundreds of people. But these people have all been separated out too. Many folks from Lahaina, and again, they say between 9 and 14,000 people is the population. Well, that leaves a lot of wiggle room to settle your numbers down, doesn't it? So you could just say we started with 9,000 people and we ended with 9,000 people when it was probably closer to 14,000 people. And that could be 9,000 people left now, for all we know. That's a super inflated number that I've never heard anyone put out there, but I think anything's possible. I think that it's probably about 13,000 as the population of Lahaina, and that the survivors are somewhere around 10 or 11,000. Those are the numbers that I've heard official on records again and again from trustworthy sources. And I believe that those are the real numbers, that the population of Lahaina was above 13,000 to start, and that the survivors of Lahaina is under 11,000. That's my position. So a lot of those folks got shipped over to Honolulu, Oahu, or the Big Island, or other places. But I did want to switch the focus over to Ms. Kylie. So let me stay caught up with you guys. Where are we at? An hour and 20. Such a freaking fantastic point, Mark. So you guys help me get focused on Kylie. Okay, start making comments about Kylie because I'm going to keep up with all your awesome comments. Um, Not hot enough to merit the melt aluminum wheels and melted door handles of cars, except for the royal blue houses, royal blue tarps. Yeah, such a good point, Michael McAllister. Thank you. That whole thing. Planned fires. Yes, and we have to keep in mind the August 7th deadline and the September payouts of the 328 million. Money is power. People in power seem shady in Hawaii. So yeah, I caught up on some bubbly waters about well, actually let's stay on Kylie Rodney. I was going to talk about the other M town, Moscow, but no, let's go Kylie. Kylie. Just say her name, you guys. Type it in, Kylie Rodney. But because I do want to keep up with you and stay on your chat because you guys have some great chat. Mom said Diamond Head was just beautiful when she flew to Hawaii. I've been there and I'm no like. Diamond Head is right downtown, Honolulu, Waikiki. No like. Some people like that stuff, not me. Um, sorry. And I'm glad that your mom liked it. But yeah, I like the uh molested island parts. Um it's them today, you tomorrow, and the next day. Exactly. We really need to write one email, just one. We can do one email. Yeah, we're all grown ups. We all know how to write emails. Um Me the next day, guy at work basically told me I had a tinfoil hat on when I mentioned the event. Are you talking about Hawaii? Because I think a lot of people are onto the Hawaii thing. No truth in Truckee. Yeah, because yeah, we're shifting the gears, but Fred, I think that goes for Moscow too, that a lot of people are like, well, yeah, they got the guy, he's in jail, blah, blah, blah. They just go with the party line, the status quo. Um, and then with Kylie Rodney, I mean, they keep trying to sell that car accident thing. They keep trying to sell that fire cam footage. It's ridiculous. We know she didn't drown. We know that fire cam footage is crap. I had been saying from jump in the Kylie Rodney case that they had footage like that and that they knew they had footage like that immediately. They know that they have fire cam footage. Why did it take however many months it took? And this is what I really wanted to say about Kylie Rodney's case today is like, why in the world would you have SF investigates and that Linda woman from the Utah Jazz? Why in the world would you have personalities come onto the scene like that in the case of a missing 16-year-old? Especially when it turns out she just got into a little car wreck. You're not going to have people like that. Those people came out to try to control the narrative. Um, yeah, CCTV, she's so good that she's so brave that she lives right there. She's been threatened, she's been followed, and she just keeps coming back at it. And for that, I'm very impressed. Very, very impressed. And then Check It TV, not impressed. He says that he found her laptop. And what about the information on the laptop? I mean, we know that they have it in possession. What about her cell phone? What about the black box? Are these things going to be in the California State Highway Patrol report? Is there going to be a final report from the FBI? Um, Casey says, I didn't know that, but I don't know what she's talking about. I am the only one who thinks BF looks like Zanime. I put their pictures side by side. Wow. They could be relatives. Wild. Wild, wild, wild. What's up with the Denver Congresswoman in the theater? Mark Molina, I'm so glad you brought that up. I was taking notes when I saw that in the news, and I was going to bring that up. That what he's talking about, you guys, this woman wearing like spaghetti strapped uh over the shoulder boulder holders and vaping, and she's like a congresswoman. She's vaping in a theater, like a play theater, not movie theater. And there's a pregnant woman behind her who's like, hey, I'm pregnant, I don't want to be breathing your vape. And then eventually they had to throw her out because not only was she being loud, she was making out with the guy she was with. She's a mother of 4. I don't know who the guy she was with, if that's like her baby daddy or not, but they were completely inappropriate. They got the boot, and then she like got more inappropriate, telling off the staff as they gave her the boot. What? And I'm sure she's got a very holier than thou and wholesome platform for her politics, right? They always do. The ones that are like that. Like, who the heck vapes in a theater? What, she thinks because she's got this position that she can do whatever she wants? And I mean, I have too much uh top heaviness. I try to play it down. It looks to me like she had a enhancement and she is totally trying to play it up. Like those girls are practically falling out. Okay. I mean, it's crazy that she would go out to public like that as a politician, especially as a mother of 4, especially as a woman, especially. I mean, unless she's going to that kind of place, right? I mean, yeah, if you're going to that kind of place, then that's how you dress. If you're going like clubbing or something, or, the kinds of places that Tony Soprano would hang out at. Anyway, I should highlight your question, Mark. I'm glad you brought her up because I think she needs to be brought up. It's ridiculous. We are the only ones with integrity. You, us in here in this chat room. Integrity has gone out the window. Well, I think a lot of people don't ever even think about integrity, and then they hear the word and they're like, "Huh? What?" And they think it's something that they can buy or fake, and that's the whole thing. Authentic people, MF puppies, um, the the authentic people, the real people, the actual people, when they're putting the bodies together from the body bags, distinct people. There we go. Perfect. That's the word. We had less than 100 distinct people. We thought we had all these people, but then when we were able to make them distinctly less than 100, because then we had 16 distinct non-humans, and we had all these people spread out in all these body bags with all this different writing from all these different agencies, and we couldn't figure it out. It was so confusing. So when we were finally able to figure it out and put all of the, like, what, dump like 6 body bags into one and say, well, there's one distinct person. The bags of the ashes. I mean, I'm being serious. Like, it sounds to me like that's what they tried to pull, and that's what they did pull, and that's what they're trying to sell. And they couldn't get somebody with integrity to come out with them and say it. So, am I plugged in? I think I am, but I might have come unplugged. Um, that wasn't my battery saying it was low. That was an announcement. But yeah, I did come unplugged, but I'm probably gonna have to wrap up soon anyway. We're at about 90 minutes here, and the battery's not saying it's low. If it gets low, I can reach around there and plug it in. Stupid thing is really loose. It comes out easily. It's annoying. Okay. Integrity has gone out the window. Need a little meditation right now, to be honest. Distinct. Yes, I'm a nerd too. Um, that's it. Authentic people. Yeah. Yeah. Authentic, integrity, distinct. Like, I mean, I know I'm crossing my wires on that, but I'm doing that intentionally because these people are so inauthentic and no integrity in trying to say this pile of crap that they're trying to sell. And again, because they're in positions of authority, because they wear a long white lab coat, they think people will buy their crap. Still can't figure out how the ships burned. Show me another case of ships burning. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, Hawaii. We're just being the squirrels, just going around and around with all the cases, huh? Um, but that's me. I got to get back to my notes. Trying to keep up with you guys. Kylie Rodney, Kylie Rodney, Kylie Rodney. Thanks, you guys. Yes, 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 yes. Kylie, Kylie, Kylie. Justice for Kylie. So yeah, I'm behind, as you can tell. I want to ask about Upchurch and Kylie's father. Yeah, I think that lawsuit is going, apparently. And I think that'll be good. It'll bring some things to surface into the light. They went back in the late 80s. What the hell happened to her? Kylie. I mean, we don't know that that was her in the back of the car. If it was her, we know she didn't drown. But I am not 100% convinced that it was her. I've never been 100% convinced that that's her. And again, going back to the beginning, like listening to CCTV's most recent drops, when they were saying that they had hundreds of tips coming in each day from all over the country. Well, that's weird. If she just died in a car accident, like you're getting hundreds of tips every day from all over the country, that doesn't make sense. All these people are going to be calling from all over the country saying, well, I think she's in the water there, or come on, totally doesn't add up. Um, and what the law enforcement was saying about hearing that there were grown-ups in Truckee telling the kids not to talk to the authorities, and the authorities were trying to shut that down. That was a thing. That was for real. Why were the grown-ups trying to obstruct justice, and why aren't they being investigated for obstructing justice? 100%. Yeah, she deserves a lot more. Um, so thanks so much for saying her name. Say her name. Don't think she drove herself into the water and she didn't drown. Yeah, Tuck Frucky, that's a good one. That's a really good one because yeah, we try not to say the F word. Sometimes you just have to, but yeah, we try really hard on YouTube to abide by their little standards so that they don't shadow ban us. Um, and demonetize us. Yes, Duck Frucky. Yeah. Um, she definitely didn't drive herself into the water. We know that 100%. We also know that whole thing with the fire cam was a pile of garbage sold by SF Investigates and some content creators, and they sent that footage to a bunch of content creators and infected their systems with it, in my opinion, allegedly. Um, Justice for Kylie and what is happening with him getting sued. Shady as crap. Did they check the DNA before they combined them? Kimberly. Yeah, and why did they never check Kylie's DNA? That makes no sense. Why did they not check her dental records? Zero sense. They didn't even check the appliance that was in her arm that had been broken. That does not make sense. Um, he said that they are suing him, but I have not seen anything updated. Will never believe Kylie drove herself into the body of water. Put the pictures of the two together, and you're talking about Zanime and Bethany Funk. I will. I'll check out. It sounds like you have that on your channel too. Um, so you guys, you've seen Chinatown, right? The Jack Nicholson movie from 1972. It's like the exact same storyline as Truckee. Exactly the same, in my humble opinion. Um, she was in the back, yeah. And just the whole like fake search. Like, did they slip her car into the water the night before AWP found her? A couple days before that? I don't think it was in there that whole time. I just don't think it's possible. Holy shit, do they look like? Um, Very cool, Jaded Warehouse. They laid her in the back of the SUV and put her to sea like a Viking. Again, more pirates. That's gonna be my new theme, pirates. Think about it. Viking on death would be put on a small boat, and the boat floated on the water. Eventually, they would set the boat on fire and let it sink into the water. Very, very interesting, Kimberly. You know, same thing in Maui. I mean, I would think that that would be how a lot of people uh, over time, over generations, over the hundreds of years of history, would have been set out to sea on wooden floats when they pass away. Um, Asked hubby last night after I put them next to each other on accident. Oh, very cool. Yeah, it's always good to get a fresh perspective from somebody in your family that's not following the case, huh? Didn't even look at the photos, but the second Jazz read the comment, it hit me. What did she even do? Did that say Mark or Monk? Gosh, I'm very far behind, aren't I? What did she even do, Mark? Um, yeah, that whole thing, Bobert, that whole, uh, yeah. Kylie is our family. Hey, Dan. Good. Mark Molina, good. We're a Kylie Rodney family right now. Who is BF? That's Bethany Funk. V is for four. Bethany Funk in the Moscow case. The witness who didn't witness nothing. The surviving witness who wasn't a witness, according to Mr. James Fry. The crazy police chief. That man's a joke, an absolute joke, in my humble opinion. What a ridiculous excuse for a police chief. And same thing with the police chief in Maui. Ridiculous excuses for police chiefs. Same thing with the captain, Sam Brown, in Kylie Rodney's case. Like he needs to do his job. The sheriffs need to do their jobs, but it's every single law enforcement officer's job to protect and serve. And if their supervisors are telling them to break laws, it's their job to be the whistleblower and turn their supervisor in and follow the law. That's the law. Transparency is the law. Yes, good about Denver Congress lady, and I'm just gonna try to speed read because I'm so far behind. Jaded, I hear you. Need to hit the shower, Fred Field. I can't stand myself. That's funny. Have a good afternoon, Kylie Rodney, Truth for Kylie. I'm gonna see if I can find something out about Upchurch. Does he have an email listed on his YouTube? He is YouTube, right? I can't remember. Mark Molina, he's got YouTube, and I don't know about the email. Um, can I call Lindsay to the stand under oath? Can I call Sam Brown to the stand? Can I call Sammy to the stand? Ma'am, just an accident. Why was the girl's skin frozen? Are you talking about Kylie? Because why would her skin freeze? Because Megan, MC, she slipped and said something about her being frozen. Do you guys remember that? I'll have to find it. It was just recent that I stumbled upon it again. MC slipped. And those are the things that let's see, the Ninja Chihuahua and um Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, those are the things that they're really good at pointing out in their little videos. It was probably one of them that did one a couple weeks ago about when she accidentally said something about Frozen. Um, Kept in a freezer storage until they could figure out how to dispose. And yeah, I know that Kylie Rodney's grandfather, I believe, owns a business that has trucks. Maybe her father and her mom's dad are in business together. They own a business. So that's interesting too, for the granddad to be still doing business with his ex son in law. That's very interesting to me. Um, Kept in freezer storage until they could figure out how to dispose. That's what I would do if I flipped and went unaliver mode. Why were the adults? Where did that go? Why were the adults out cleaning up the scene the following morning? What? Right. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they don't go out there and clean up after their kids drink a bunch of beer and crap. They don't want their kids caught, right? And Kimberly, I think you're right. That's the only thing it could be. Like one of those square garage freezers. Well, yeah, those like trucks, those semi trucks that are freezers, the refridge, um, reefers, they can put a car in there. And Upchurch was the first one to come up with that crazy idea, right? In this case, they didn't check those things would have been truth telling. Kylie Rodney, justice for Kylie. These rumors they did in Delphi 2 different days, 2 different red rums, unalived one first day, then brought other and did the second. Oh my goodness, I've not heard that part. Arg, jazz, lady, matey. Are you being a pirate? I like to say pirate. What's her channel name? CCTV. That's it. It's CCTV. I already turned in some people about Maui. Hopefully, it's a good tip. They come get them. Yeah, Kimberly, that's awesome. Where do you get your info? You sound the complete opposite from me. I still want to read it though. He's taking a YouTube break, but Brianna has her social media. They were experimenting with making napalm. Sus, borderline sus. Science experiments are fun. Science experiments in multiple countries right before a fire, super sus. So, you guys, I showed a picture of Maui early on in this case to a guy who was a cashier at a store who was interested, and he hadn't heard anything about it. And he looked one look, and he was like 31 years old, too. So, not an older guy. First thing he said was napalm. And yeah, first thing he said. Um, and yeah, the first thing I thought too when I looked at those photos was that it looked like a war zone. Absolutely. Hiroshima. That's what it reminded him of was Hiroshima. And I would have to agree. But that was just fresh eyes with one photograph. Hiroshima. They were experimenting. Okay, I read that one. CC Kimberly CCTV. Well, I come from a weird background, so I'm making connections from basically my homemade MSM aggregator. That's funny. Thanks, you all. I'm going to look at Mark and Cece then. Yeah, check them out. And you guys are probably all watching Shan, Squirrels on Fire. She's killing it. Her last live, I think, was the night before last, and it was like 4 hours, and it was just packed. I talked some about it yesterday. I put the link in the description of yesterday's live. What did Megan say about Kylie's skin? I saw it on her autopsy. Oh, Casey. She just made a slip. I will try to find what I'm talking about and either talk about it tomorrow or get it into the description today or both. It's going to be challenging because I've been getting flooded with information these last few days. And I think it was like a week ago that I came across it again, but I will find it. Shan will know. Shan will definitely know. So yeah, MC, she just slipped and she said something frozen, and then she just like she hurt herself and she dropped it and she changed gears, like the way she does. And for that we can thank her. Because again, if she wasn't letting a cat out of the bag, she wouldn't have handled it that way. She would have just been like, "Oh, that's not what I meant to say." Um, Coroner never saw the body. Are you speaking about Kylie Rodney? Um, Dan? I'm asking, and so is Kimberly. Here, I'll highlight that one. When I was younger, we looked out for each other. This is just sad and makes me mad. Xena, Justice Warrior, Kylie. Did someone say that the coroner didn't see Kylie's body, or was I misunderstanding? Kylie Rodney, Kylie Rodney, Kylie Rodney, truth for Kylie, justice for Kylie. Couldn't they test the ashes for what the fire is derived from? Good question for the Maui fire, Sandra. And I appreciate that. And I know we are trying to stay on our lovely Ms. Kylie. And I'm appreciative of that excellent comment too. I'm going to highlight that, but I'm going to try to keep talking about Kylie for the next few minutes. We are at an hour 45 minutes. Yeah, the car's windows being down, you guys. Um, so what? The front passenger window is down, and in that live the night before last, I remember Mrs. G, Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, was saying that she had an inkling to think that the windows, the front window being down and one of the back windows being halfway down, were left like that as like a game to see if Kylie could maybe escape. And I thought that was a really interesting idea. I didn't necessarily agree with it, but I thought, what an interesting idea. And of course, anything is possible. Like all scenarios are still on the table as far as I'm concerned with Kylie Rodney. And I'll just be honest, because you know how I am. I like to be transparent with my people here. I still don't trust Jagger. It was Mark Molina in his brilliant live from the night before last, who was doing some really good speculating about that. Like Jagger was a photographer at a car show. Where's the photographs from Jagger being at a car show? Was there a thing in Truckee in Nevada County, Placer County, like what we might be seeing in Moscow with the OnlyFans? Was Jagger or SF, were they photographers for OnlyFans? Is that something that was going on with Truckee teenagers? Is that something that's kind of been part of the culture for a long time with even before OnlyFans, just with, you know, Bond, James Bond, and all the stories that we've heard people talking about teenage girls going up there to party unsupervised and law enforcement knowing about it and partying with them even. Um, why did it take so long to see the footage? I think Kylie was the first case where people started saying, hold on a second, but it took a minute for people to wake up. Kimberly, oh wait, I already read that. No, I didn't. Okay. Kimberly, you sound like someone I could be great pals with. Move to Scotland, please. Oh, you're all the way over there. Um, and Gabby and Brian Laundrie's sick parents, that was shocking, wasn't it? Absolutely. Like these parents that protect their twisted kids, but then you got to remember that their twisted kids are products of their parenting. So, um, yes, his parents, ugh, and his sister too. Yuck, 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 yuck. Truckee needs to stop chasing teenage girls. I agree. I 100% agree. Um, I saw that those windows were down as far as they could go in the back. I was just like, hmm. But the passenger was down all the way. Yeah, right. And then the rumors about SS coming home soaking wet. I don't know if that is rumor or more than just rumor. That the rumors that her sister shared that information publicly, that her sister came home soaking wet that night. Do you think Deputy Gang had something to do with Kylie? Deputy Gang. Oh, Wang. Are you talking about Sheriff Wang? Woo, Wang. What you mean when you're saying deputy gang? The just the gang of deputies, and you got to remember too that Kate Cunio's uncle Cunio, I think it's David is his first name, that he's a sheriff's deputy for Sacramento County. We had like 8 kids that allegedly were at the party that their parents were law enforcement. And they weren't all named Nate. Some of them rhymed with Nate and then said that they were there and then said that they weren't there and said that it was like Silence of the Lambs. No, I'm just kidding. Said that it was like Lord of the Flies. Silence of the Lambs. It's like the same number of words. It just came to me, and that I think is apropos. I've often said Blair Witch Project party too, you guys. Um, I mean, yuck. And the Weekend at Bernie's party, and definitely the Lord of the Flies. Somebody was saying that no, Kate didn't say that, but Annie Ruler remembers it. And I've talked with other people in emails and chat that remember it. I 100% believe that Kate Cunio said that the party was like Lord of the Flies also, and that was in a news interview right around the same time that she had that news interview where she's standing next to Jägermeister and says the thing about the creme brulee. And why did she say it like that, you guys? I've always speculated that she said it like that because she was trying to buy time to think about what she was going to say next because she was lying. And maybe they had something to do with creme brulee, but it was like a pause. It was like an it was like she was trying to confabulate in her brain what to say next. Um I could see it in New Delphi Motion. They talked about law enforcement and jail guards having ODIN patches on their uniform. I don't know what ODIN patches are. I don't think I want to know, do I? Scary. We do need to wrap up, you guys. So I'm going to get through the rest of your comments and then wrap it up because we're pushing 2 hours. Um, just wild. Los Angeles was investigating a deputy gang late last year. FBI was looking into deputy gangs around the time Idaho 4 happened. Oh, fascinating, Kimberly. Seriously. Wow. Yeah. That would fit for the Moscow PD type of deal. And just the whole Wazoo PD and the Pullman PD and that whole mess. Yuck. Um, I'd say it could be a couple of law enforcement guys that are into Odin partying with Kylie. Something happened. They loved her, so they floated her to sea in her vessel. Yikes. Yeah, I mean, I just go back to the basics. Like, we all know what happens at parties, like frat parties, and why would you have a party in the woods? Like, that's just creepy. I mean, it's kind of like cliche, like you don't go out into the woods with somebody because they could unalive you or assault you or, you know, to go out into the woods and party with people you don't know there. That's nuts. That's just trouble waiting to happen. Um, let's see. They put her in one of their garage freezers while they figured out what to do and were able to cover it up. I'd say let's start looking at local law enforcement websites profiles. Who has Viking images? Odin, ravens, crows, men in armor. Interesting. Super interesting. So I'm gonna read the last few and then sign off here. She was laid in the back, the SUV floated to sea, party in the woods, Odin, yikes. Sick of the trucky way truck. Yeah, I do too. Who had read The King of the Rats? You went live for a longer time today. Go Justice A to Z. Woohoo! Yes, we're gonna break our 2 hour and some odd minute record soon. I promise you, you guys. My sound sync was off, fixed now. I think it has to do with pagan rituals and sacrifices. Have a beautiful day, Jazz. Everyone in chat. Yes, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Sending you light, sending you love. Take care of yourself, drink your water, eat your protein and your veggies, get your exercise, be productive, relax, trust yourself, trust your instinct, and see you on the next one. Take it easy, light and love.